This is Savage Annie with Into the Pit with Annie. I'm here with Jake, vocalist and bassist for Aether from Greenville, North Carolina. It's Greenville, right? Not Asheville.
Well, we started in Greenville and we came up in Greenville, but now me and Heinrich and Donny all live together in a house in Asheville, and then Tyler, our drummer, lives in Raleigh, North Carolina. It's about
nice.
3-4 hours east, 3-4 hours east of where we are.
Now, the last time we spoke, I was handing you a birthday shot, and you were asking for triangle mosh pits in the middle of your set.
Yeah.
And just shy of my birthday, but in that show review, I really hope that these guys are going to make a new album. And here you are.
We did.
About to release
look, we read that review and we said, boys, it's time. Let's go right now.
You heard that here. I'm responsible, guys.
Yeah, we were basically like, let's just tour forever and not make any new music. And then we read that and we said, shit.
Well, now you have to. Yeah.
You got to.
So you have Redneck Vikings From Hell releasing on May 1st via Napalm Records, and you released 3 singles off of that. So recently was Guardian, the ballad track, which I really dug, by the way. It was definitely a softer approach to the other 2.
Yeah.
What made you guys release a ballad as a single?
Well, one of the things about this album, and this is I feel like this is always sort of a blessing/curse situation with the band. I like it. I see it more as a blessing most of the time, but all of our albums are really all over the place. Like, we've got melodic things we'll come back to, or like, we'll hit a gallop riff in multiple songs and stuff like that. But, like Tarot had like Temperance. Tarot had a song called Temperance on it, which is like almost entirely acoustic except a big bombastic outro. And then that's on the same album as a song like The Devil, which is like basically our version of a tech death song. So the cool thing about Redneck Vikings From Hell is that I feel like all the songs were candidates for singles. It wasn't like, it's not like we fought a lot about which songs were going to be the singles. And I was the motherfucker that was fighting for Guardian, because I was like, y'all, here's the deal. This song's going to happen, and either everybody's going to fucking hate it or it's going to go off. But with all the other songs, I felt pretty comfortable that they would be well received, like they would be liked to. It's not like a lot of stuff is in the wheelhouse of what we've done before, right? But Guardian is the first thing, or the most obvious thing on the album that we've never tread into that territory before at all. And so I'm kind of like a high risk, high reward type motherfucker. And so with that in mind, I was like, y'all, I really want to try smashing this ballad as one of the singles. The label initially was like hesitant on that. They were like, nah, man, we need Redneck Vikings as a single. And I'm like, well, I don't know. I like that as like the unforeseen album opener that just throws you in the mess. And then I was thinking about having Lean Into the Wind, which is like one of the faster sort of D-beat at the gates kind of songs.
Mm-hmm.
We were thinking about having that as a single. And so we thought about it and discussed it like you do in band. And eventually we came out to a collection of songs that we feel like sort of runs the gamut of everything we're doing. But the decision to make it a single was that we've never done anything like it before, and so we wanted to see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
It was an experiment, I guess, in a way, but also I think the song's good. I feel strongly that I think the song is a good song.
Yeah, it's actually like, I don't really like ballads a whole lot, and like so like I was like, oh, this is nice. It was a pleasant surprise, especially with the part that kind of sets it a little heavier in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Where you kind of get in and growl a little bit more into the mic.
A little growl.
Just a little bit. It's just enough to be like,
through a song without a good scream.
You listen to it, and you're like, okay, what is this? Okay, when's it gonna pick up? And then, oh, this is nice.
Oh,
And
there it is.
oh, that's nice. And then it goes back to the ballad, and that I thought complemented it really well. Sorry, I'm just like pumping your ego now.
Oh, it's all good. We had a
So
couple brutal comments, so I'll take some ego pumping.
in regards to that particular ballad, was there some kind of life influence that you guys drew from to write that? I feel like that was meant to be more emotionally evoking than the previous two tracks, which were just more heavy in storytelling.
Yeah, I told it, the label wrote a little bit about it on the little press release thingy, but they didn't really go into detail. But basically, what it was is I don't know, maybe like I'm bad with dates, but maybe a year ago, I was living. So I've been living in Asheville for a long time. At the sort of beginning of this, of like really recording the stuff for this album, I moved out of Asheville briefly and lived with Donny in Greenville, back in Greenville. He was still there. This is maybe 18 months ago, or even a little bit longer. It might be 2 years ago now. Hard to remember. But eventually I moved back up to Asheville and was living with one of my coworkers. And I knew that the only way we were going to make the album work was if Donny was up there with us, because we had written Goodbye. Me and Donny wrote Goodbye while I was living with him in Greenville over like a little 3-month period. And that's the song that the label signed us on. And so I was back in Asheville, and I just found out that the workflow while I was living with Donny was really good. I would come home from work and we'd go into his room and get to work on music, and go for a couple hours at least, and make a lot of progress really fast that way. So we moved, I brought it up to Donny and I said, hey, could you move to Asheville? Like, if I had a spot for you, like if we set a spot out for you and everything, would you be down to just move up here and blast this album out with me? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. And obviously some planning and stuff, but the end result of all that was Donny got my room, and I was sleeping on the couch for my old room, and I was sleeping on the couch for maybe a year and a little bit while we were making this album. And so during all that, you kind of get down on yourself a little bit, because you're just like, damn, man, I'm like 27 years old and I'm sleeping on a damn couch.
Yeah. And
I don't really know if this shit's going to work or not. Like, I work as my day job is like a pharmacy technician, and that's fine. That keeps the bills relatively paid. But that's not what I want to do forever. I want to be making sick riffs, and it can be an uncertain path. So there was a day that me and Donny were driving home at night from something, and he was like talking to me a little bit, and he was just like, Jake, I just want to be serious with you for a second. Like, are you serious about all this shit? Like, do you think that we can, like, make some moves? And I was like, man, I don't know. But I would not be sleeping on the couch if I didn't believe it. So either the same night or a little bit later on, I was just kind of thinking on that, and I was feeling bad about, maybe pulling a bunch of my friends into this sort of wild goose chase of a band that wasn't necessarily going to do anything. And I really was wishing that I would have someone to sort of comfort me about it, and I didn't at the time. So I busted out the keyboard and got to just sort of playing to, that always makes me feel better if I can get some playing time in. And this chord progression and melody, really simple, started coming together, and that chorus also started coming together, just the melody and the chord progression, no lyrics. And then over the next couple days, sort of that first verse and that chorus came together. And it just made me feel better about the whole situation. It was a song that I wrote to try to make myself feel better. And it did. And I thought, well, maybe this will make somebody else feel better too. And then, of course, and after that sort of initial spark of getting it put together. It came together like most Aether Realm songs do, where we fought about what needed to happen in the verse or what needed to happen in the chorus. Like, oh, I think the guitar needs to do this. No, that sucks. It needs to do this. And it sort of started building from that. And then I brought what we had into Kyle Odell, who he produced Tarot, and he also produced this album. And I said, Kyle, we've got this song, and it's way simpler than anything we usually do. Can you help me sort of Kyle's wheelhouse is like softer stuff and also like radio rock. And I said, Kyle, can you help me make this pop off? And he said, yeah. And so he threw in a couple of like texture elements, and he made one really key songwriting decision where we like added an extra bar, like one extra bar before the first big guitar part comes in. And it sort of came together from there. It all, and Ben Turk did orchestrations on it and blew those out of the park. He's the drummer from Glory Hammer, and he does all of their orchestrations. And then I had some buds do backup vocals. My sister did some backing vocals on the chorus, and my friends Nathaniel and George. Yeah, that's sort of the story of how that song came together. I don't know if it's exciting or not, but
I mean, that sounds like a really big collaborative effort. But also, I think that songs like that give people some kind of glimmer of hope in this time, as we are currently all in isolation and kind of stuck in our own heads. Yeah, it's important to have, and it reflects kind of on where your mental state was when you were on the couch and not wanting to waste people's time. And I think it's a beautiful way to emanate that. So thank you for the more in-depth description.
No problem.
What has the fan reaction been to Goodbye and Slave to the Riff?
Well, it's all been like the vast majority has been positive, like pretty wildly vast majority, but definitely some people that are like, me and Chris Bose from Ailstorm are pretty good friends, and we'll get on each other's videos and like talk shit a little bit, but like we'll sort of talk shit in a. Chris's problem with Ailstorm is that he'll put out a video and it'll be like a pirate metal anthem, right? But he does a music video and it's got like a car in it, and they're all. Have you seen that video?
I haven't watched any Ailstorm videos recently.
There's one they came out with called Treasure Chest Party Quest.
I'm gonna have to watch that one now. There's a car in it.
He's done. Go watch that shit. And so it's a great anthem. But then a lot of comments will be like, well, where's the eye patch? Where's the hook? Where's the pirate ship? I want my pirate metal to have all of these things in the video. And he can write the most piratey song of all time. And if the video doesn't have them wearing pirate costumes, then people are going to be mad about it. And so he came on, I think he came on the Guardian video, and he was like, where's the eye patch? Where's the hook? This isn't what I wanted. And we have a little bit of that, like, we'll put out one song that tries a certain thing that maybe we've never done before, like Guardian with the big anthemic clean chorus, which we've done before in like songs like Death, but obviously this one's more of like a straight beat, like a 4 on the floor kind of thing. And we'll have people listen to the song and just come out and be like, oh no, the label must have convinced them to become a pop band, and the whole album must be like this.
Well, I mean, you are a self-proclaimed.
One song of a how many songs are on this album? 9, 11, 11. It's like you've heard one song of an 11-song album. Like, why do you think that the whole album's gonna be like this? You've heard our other albums; they're always all over the place. Like, where's this leap in logic coming from?
I think it's great that you guys don't put yourselves in a box where you're just like, this is how this is going to sound. All these songs are going to stick to this box, maybe a little bit outside of it, but not too much. You guys just go all over the place where the creative juices flow, and that is what I think.
We wear our influences really on our sleeve,
or on a back patch. I remember.
Yeah, on our back patch, or on our nose sleeves, and we have a lot of influences all over the map. Slave to the Riff. We were originally it was like this heavier straight song, and then Ben got on it with his orchestrations, and it turned into sort of Flesh God sounding stuff,
Mm-hmm.
with these like low woodwinds like playing along to the guitars in the big chorus. And that was Ben's influences, I think, on his sleeve a little bit. I mean, of course, Ben listens to all kinds of stuff too, but in that particular moment, that's what that was. So, we have these sort of big collaborative efforts on these songs, and naturally, a lot of people are pouring in different ingredients into the mix. And the result is that we never get anything that's like quite the same every time, which I like. I mean, it can be confusing maybe to listen to, or it can be like, and be like, man, I really have no idea whether this next Aether song is going to slap or just be totally shit. From a fan perspective, maybe there's a little of that, but I'm glad that we're able to just sort of do whatever the hell we want.
Well, I mean, I think it works to your guys' benefit. You cross into so many different subgenres in the metal realm that, like, I don't even know if we can call you guys just strictly Viking metal at this point. Like, you're.
We have been Viking metal since Odin Will Provide. Then we were folk metal for a little bit, but like that seems like we are a folk metal influenced band now. I don't know. I just call it metal at this point. It's just all metal, and it's like I still describe it the same way to people when they try and ask me what it sounds like, because like if someone doesn't listen to metal and they ask me what Aether sounds like, I say it sounds like Metallica and Pirates of the Caribbean, and that's like where I leave it, because I don't want to have to try to explain what the hell we do. That's the worst thing in the world, trying to explain.
Sound like Ariana Grande.
It's Ariana Grande and Death Grips. There you go.
Oh, that's great. So what are some of, I know that in previous interviews you talk about your writing process and how you do bass parts last, but are bass parts last after vocals, or?
That kind of lasts at the same time as vocals. Vocals are also like going on. The way everything goes down is Heinrich and Donny will track most, if not all, I think this one, it was all of them really, of their guitars themselves. Like they track it from their room. And a lot of recording and stopping and saying fuck and going back and tracking it again and fuck, and then you go back, like, I mean, an unbelievable amount, like thousands and thousands of times. So Kyle recommended this album that we do, that we actually record drums like sort of last in the process. Usually do drums first, but we have a tendency in the studio to, up until the very last possible second, we'll be like changing arrangements of songs, or like inserting new ideas or adding new elements or taking them out or whatever. Like, oh, this like, I mean, it could be as heavy as like this bridge section like doesn't work. Let's just take it out entirely. And we sometimes make decisions like that days before we're supposed to be done. Which is very frustrating for everyone that I work with. I'm sure it's a nightmare, but I think that maintaining that sort of open mind all the way to the end, and being willing to make big changes all the way to the end, results in a better album. Like, if you add some little element and then that throws off another part of the song to where that needs to be tweaked, and then that makes this other part irrelevant, so you got to cut that out. Like, you want to always be able to adjust the rest of the song based around the one part you're working on.
Well, I think it's a sense of creative pride at that point. You want something that you are both proud to put out, but also someone can say they're proud to listen to.
Yeah. And so with that in mind, where we're doing all these changes to the last minute, I usually sort of wind up living in the studio a little bit while the mix is happening, and while it's all we're sort of taking all of these ingredients that have been built individually in different workstations. Donny records his guitars in Pro Tools, and he has all of his clean guitars, DI tracks and everything. and then Heinrich does all his in Ableton, a different audio workstation, and then I do all of my synth stuff, and any extra stuff I'm adding, I do all that in Logic, which is a third. It's a really not well designed workflow, but it has worked. We're gonna try and get like more efficient with it in the future, but basically all of these ingredients are built in totally separate areas, and then we take them all to Kyle, and then Kyle is the one that takes everything and puts it all in a single session, and we start the long slog of making this stuff make sense. And so while I'm there with Kyle, it's sort of an opportune time. If there are vocals left to do, if there is bass left to do, that's sort of an opportune time where we can just get the song all ready to go, and then, oh yeah, let's do some bass real quick, and we knock that out. And this bass, it's metal bass, so it doesn't take that long. It takes a couple hours per song at the most, I would say. So, and I have a benefit of, I really know to a very intimate degree how the song goes at that point in the process. So there's not a lot of trying to figure out how the song goes. I just know how the song goes, and if I miss a note, oh, okay, well, we'll play it back. So that's it's vocals and bass last is sort of it's just works with how we create the songs, with the timeline or whatever.
Awesome. So you guys actually had a tour planned this year. It was going to be your first headlining tour.
Not true. We've had headlining tours before.
You have?
Yep.
I apparently didn't research that far down.
Oh, it's okay. Look, we're gonna have a little story time.
We're gonna have story time. Hell yeah! Let me fuck up an interview for story time.
A little wall of tour posters here.
Oh, nice.
Basically, we've been doing very little headline tours periodically since 2012. But we say headline tours. The 2012 tour that we did, we hadn't even put out an album yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very, very small crowds, between 0 and perhaps 20 people at our shows. So, I don't know if you would call it a headline tour or not. We were the top band on the bill. We were also often the only band on the bill. But we haven't done one in a while. We've done some like co-headliners with the band Wilderun. And then, of course, we've done support stuff with Ailstorm and Glory Hammer and all that. We haven't done a headlining one recently.
Okay. So first big headlining one in a while. With Paladin got a little bit shafted here.
Yep.
And so, it looks like you guys are trying to plan to put it into this year if possible. But how did that news kind of feel like when you guys finally were like, oh shit, we can't do this right now?
Well, the timeline of it was sort of like restrictions, this was everywhere, but restrictions sort of trickled in and slowly tightened, right? So at first we were like sort of vaguely hearing about this new coronavirus that was going around, and everybody's kind of like, oh, that's sort of interesting. Anyways, I'm just gonna go about my day. That was sort of before it came to America, and then it came to America, and they did a travel ban from Europe for 30 days. And when that came out, we said, okay, this is when that came out, the end of the travel ban was before our tour started. So we were saying to ourselves sort of, okay, well, if the travel ban actually ends in 30 days and stuff's good after that, then we'll just do the tour as normal. That'll be fine. And so a little bit after that travel ban from Europe came out, that's when they started implementing the sort of caps on number of people that can gather in an area. So like we saw like no more than 500 people come up somewhere, and that was like, okay, well, we're not gonna have 500 people at our show, so that's fine. And then it was like, well, no more than 250 people anywhere. And I said, oh, well, we don't usually, we've never really had 250 people, but we might this time. So that's going to be a problem, maybe. And then I think right around that same time, the CDC put out a recommendation that there be gatherings of no more than 50 people for 8 weeks. And that, when that came out, that was when I knew that we were going to have to do something. So I ended up sending an email to the booking agent and to Paladin and everybody that's sort of involved in the tour. I was like, so we've seen this thing, and it seems like it's going to affect us. What do we want? We've seen some other tours canceling and some other tours postponing. Hey, Donnie. Donnie's here.
Hi, Donnie.
This is Annie. We're doing a little interview with Into the Pit.
I love your bed hair.
Oh, in Mesa?
Mm-hmm.
I used to live in Mesa. Actually, no, I lived in Chandler.
Yeah, I saw you guys with Glory Hammer.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I used to live out. I went to school out there, actually. There's a school for audio engineering that I went to.
Oh, nice.
I lived out there for a bit.
And
I lived in Las Vegas.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about the tour cancellation.
Oh, that's right. So we sent that email out, and we all started talking, and basically the universal response from everybody was like, well, we really don't want to cancel, but that does affect us. So let's start looking at new dates as a possibility, but keep our holds on these dates, and maybe they'll come through. And then it just, as time went on, and we even, I told Aaron, I can't be actively promoting this thing while this is all going on. Like, until we make an announcement that is postponed, I'm not posting anything about the tour, because there'll just be, some idiot shit, right? Like, oh, coronavirus going around, but still come out to our tour.
Okay, we'll set down tape on the floor. You drunk idiots will totally be able to handle it.
Yeah, it's fine. No, we sort of stopped promoting it a little bit before we actually announced that it was postponed, because we wanted to make sure all the stakeholders, the venues and promoters and everything, we wanted to make sure everybody got that from us first. So they didn't have to read that their show that they were doing was canceled in a Facebook post, But that CDC announcement, whenever that happened, that was like 8 weeks, no more than 50 people. That was when we knew we had to do something. And so now we've officially postponed it, and we've got holds for dates later in the year. Some of them have leaked. We don't even know if the held dates are going to hold up, which is why we haven't announced anything new yet. We've also got other holds on dates even later in the year, and some that might go into 2021. So that's depending on how messed up everything is for how long. We've got options for when we can do this tour, but we are going to do it. Like, at some point the world's going to be back to normal, and we're going to go do it then. But we just don't know when exactly yet.
Book a Vegas date.
We played there once.
You guys can sleep on my couches. I don't care.
My sister and my mom live in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Perfect. See, you have no excuse now. Now you have family. You got to come out.
Yeah, I like the last, like, every time I'm in Vegas, it's always because of, like, I have to play a show or I'm on tour or something like that. And I always get to see my mom and my sister, but that's, like, the only time I ever see them now.
It is very empty here right now. There's no tourists. The strip's shut down. It's
my mom said. She said she drove across the whole strip in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's unheard of in normal circumstances.
It's amazing.
I avoid that area like the plague unless there's a show I need to.
Oh yeah, everyone does. Yeah. If you live there, absolutely, everyone does.
Well, it's good that you guys have dates lined up still. Is there a date that, or not a date, but a town that you haven't played at yet that you really want to?
Just in general?
Yeah.
Do you have any of those?
A town in the U.S.?
Does it have to be the U.S.?
It doesn't have to be the U.S. Like, what's your dream tour?
I want to do Japan. I really want to do Japan.
Yeah, I want to do Japan also.
You guys would kill it in Japan.
We've got a fan out there and a friend of ours, a longtime friend named Kumi. And she like all the way back from One Chosen, she was like hyping us up out there, and like she somehow got us this deal with this CD distributor out there that they bought like 50 of our first album, and we shipped it all out there. And so we have this little pocket of fans out in Japan, and it's great. You know, I really am eager to get out there and play for them and meet them. I would love to do Finland, of course. I feel like we've been making Finland jokes for so long that I feel like
it would be meta.
I feel like you should have a meta shirt with a "We Are Not From Finland" shirt, but like with added text for like Finland tour. 2021, you know.
The We're Not From Finland Finnish tour. That'd be all right. I'll be about that.
I would buy one of those shirts. I would fly to Finland probably just to have one of those shirts if they were that exclusive. But also vacation, you know. Finland's a nice area.
You know, Hate Crew, or not Hate Crew, what did I say? Hate Crew? Hate Breed. So my friend Billy, he's like their merch. He does merch for Hate Breed, right? And he Hate Breed has a different shirt for every city that they're in.
Yeah.
So they only in that city. And like that's just like amazing because like it sells out like immediately every time. It's like wow.
I like the full tour shirts, but also a lot of those local shirts that bands make half the time, I don't like the design.
Yeah.
And so I won't buy it. I'll just be like, I'm just gonna buy this other shirt because this is badass. This is their album cover.
Well, usually it's a parody shirt, something local, you know?
Yeah.
They'll have the local sports team logo on it or something. You know,
did that, but I mean, I thought it was cool.
Aggressive property right infringement, but it doesn't matter because it's just like one show. So what are they going to do?
Yeah, dude.
Well, I don't know if they make enough money off of it. Someone will do something, but I think it's cool that they do that. I just wish that they had better, more appealing designs, or that it wasn't on like a bright yellow shirt or some shit.
Oh yeah, that's
like I'm a metalhead.
I black shirt,
bright yellow. My closet is black on black on black on black, and then I have like one ingested white shirt in the mix.
We got we did a design recently. Michael Ulrich did it. And we put it out on a white shirt and also on a black shirt. And I think the white one is way sicker looking, but the black one outsold the white one by, you know, maybe like 30% or something like that. And I was just like, you metal motherfuckers, I knew it. I knew you were going to do this shit.
So white shirts, it's so hard to keep them white if you don't own a lot of white clothing, because you're not going to do any special wash for it.
Oh yeah, true.
And then like I eat stuff with hot sauce, so there's always drippage of some sort because I don't know how to eat like a human being.
No, me neither.
Hot sauce. Move aside. This interview is
now. Oh man, is it hot
sauce? So have you ever had Horsetooth hot sauce from Fort Collins, Colorado?
Yeah, I have.
The O-Face one is by far my favorite, but also they have a little piggy small batch one that's a breakfast sauce with bacon in it, and dude, they've got Bloody Mary mix now. I'm like, barbecue sauce. The barbecue sauce is amazing too.
Oh hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
what y'all need? We got.
This is the best interview ever.
This one's really good.
We got a house tour. We've got a tour of their pantry.
Yeah, this one's pretty good stuff. This Tropical Pepper Company. We got the Serrano pepper. This is like a little box set that I think my Nana gave me because she knows I like hot sauces. But I usually buy like individual things a lot.
Nice.
This one's actually local. Firewalker.
To Asheville?
Firewalker hot sauce, people. If you're in the area of North Carolina, you need to look. Just the whole state. Doesn't matter.
You ever watched Hot Ones?
I have seen a couple Hot Ones videos, but it just wasn't for me watching people run around a table.
That's fair.
No, I feel you on that. Like I think
I'm not active enough for that. It exhausts me. Okay, I don't even like go for walks.
no, their hot sauces are like super good. They had the Last Dab. That one's pretty crazy.
I haven't. Have you ever eaten that? Have you eaten any of that?
Yeah. So Reese from Veil of Knopf.
Oh shit, he had it.
He had it. Yeah. And so I got to try that, and it's mega spicy. It's good. It's really delicious though, but oh man, it's hot.
What is the worst hot sauce you've ever eaten, like on a dare or just willingly on food?
There's this chicken wing spot.
Rockies?
No, not here. It's not here.
I say Rockies is good.
Oh, that's pretty hot too. They have a Rockies Hot Chicken Shack. I think it's what's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like this one.
But that's like Nashville hot chicken, so it's dry.
Yeah, it's dry rub, but it's ghost peppers, like straight up. It's red.
Nice.
But the worst one I ever had in my life was there's this place called Crazy Wing Cantina, and it's in Chesapeake, Virginia. And they have these wings that are called DOAs, and you have to sign a waiver to buy these and stuff.
Yeah.
So my buddy bought them, and he's like, "Dude, you like spicy foods?" I was like, "Yeah, man. I mean, of course I like spicy food. Like, just a 10-pound bag of flour, make a lot of biscuits. Absolutely." He's like, "All right, you gotta try these wings." I had to sign a waiver for them, and I like ripped into this one, wing just like real quick, man. Just like destroyed it, threw it down, started licking my fingers. I was like, "That wasn't that hot, dude." And then it just, boom, hit me.
Game over.
And it was like, it lasted like an hour, and it was unbearable. Like, like I was taking ketchup and just squirting it down my throat, trying to melt.
Ketchup?
Yeah, anything. Milk. I drank like a lot of fucking milk. Like milk, ketchup, anything I could find.
Ketchup was probably not a good choice because it's slightly acidic.
Yeah, it didn't. No, it didn't help. I didn't know any better then.
Did it at least have flavor? Because I know that a lot of those like high Scoville hot sauces, they have like no flavor. It's just kind of like straight.
So this was like, I think what it was actually like, it was just like a wing. It didn't have sauce on it. I think what it was like a capsaicin crystal was on it. So the only thing I tasted was like the wing. Like all I could taste was just like chicken. I didn't taste anything else. But it was insanely hot, like unbearably hot. Like you wanted to die over it kind of thing. That was probably my life.
I avoid anything that involves a waiver when it comes to food. I don't think I want to cross that line yet, but that you're convincing me not to now. Thank you.
Yeah, don't do it. It's a bad call. Bad time.
All right. As far as questions for the album, I don't really have any more for the album. But given the times that we're in for COVID-19, who out of the band would be the last one standing in a zompoc?
A zombie apocalypse. Who would be the last person standing?
It's probably me.
Yeah, Donnie seems like an appropriate pick. Though, I feel like
you would like, but that's the thing though. I would need you also, because like you're like really smart with like medication, and like all the names of medication. So, like if we rated
the
pharmacy, yeah, like boom, and then like I have like all these like weird dumb skills that don't help me in normal life, but they would definitely help me in a zombie apocalypse.
What weird dumb skills? Now we have to know.
I don't know. I'm pretty good at like fixing almost anything.
Yeah, Donnie's a skilled
like mechanically or electronically. And
that's not a dumb skill.
Useful skill. What is a dumb skill? Efficient repair.
Y'all live in North Carolina. You better have that skill.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a given actually. Like my my cousins and my grandparents on my dad's side, they're all from North Carolina, and they like race stock cars.
Yeah.
Build them from scratch. Like I've helped them, and it's crazy.
I mean, you guys have the NASCAR UTI school up there too, in Mooresville.
Oh yeah, there is. I think I think you're right. Is that in Charlotte? Maybe I can't remember now.
Mooresville.
Yeah, it was like race NASCAR country out here, dude. I don't know. I don't know the dumb skills.
See, I want to take a moment to consider Tyler and Heinrich here. So Heinrich, I feel like Heinrich, like, I don't know, he'd meditate for like 10 hours and then just come out with his katana and like carve a path through the.
I think a bat or a sword would be a good weapon against the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Guns kind of attract attention. I actually own the Zombie Apocalypse Survival Guide.
Oh, that's
Max Brooks.
Whoa.
I know what I'm talking about.
Shit just got real.
And then Tyler, I feel like I don't know. Tyler seems like a wild card. He's like he might go right away, but he might like. I don't know. He seems like he's got so many tricks up his sleeve that he'd like come out with like a hot dog costume or something.
The beauty of it though is that with Tyler, like we would never be bored.
Oh yeah,
that's the other thing you have to fight in an apocalypse is boredom. You know
Tyler would be the one that would make sure that we don't all kill each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that's as a unit we'd be pretty good, I think.
Actually. Yeah,
we'd be pretty good, pretty solid. We'd be better with some of our parts.
Nice. You guys should just create a series of story times about surviving a zombie and your isolation for your Facebook followers.
Yeah. That'll be the album after this one.
How we survived the zombie COVID. Okay, cool. I don't have any other questions for you guys, but if you have anything else you want to plug, talk about, we can dive in. Otherwise, I can let you have back your afternoon.
I want to say shout out to Church Grim. He's at Church Grim Art on all the social media. He made the video for Guardian and for Slave to the Riff, and those aren't the only music videos he's worked on, or lyric videos or anything. But those are his most recent ones, and he's a good friend of ours. So check him out. Check out Gerard Najir and Anna Maria Hecho. They did the goodbye video. They and their team did the goodbye video, and they have a art page called Banana the Lemon, which is a little bit sweet and a little bit sour, is the way that they describe it. And they do excellent music videos too. So shout out to both of them, and to our everybody that we've been working with, Kyle and Ben and the Napalm team. We've had a lot of fun getting this thing all together, and we've had a lot of help. So
all right.
Walker hot sauce.
One more time from Donny.
All right, so Redneck Vikings From Hell comes out May 1st. It is available for pre-order now on Napalm Records. And you guys also have merch on holymountainprinting.com. So everybody go follow this band, go like their page, go pre-order their album.